and gentlemen, welcome to the 5-Star Revolution Podcast, the one and only official 5-Star Revolution Podcast. Don't forget to join us on Facebook, 5-Star Revolution Podcast, for your chance to win a $200 Visa gift card. And also, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel right now, 5-Star Revolution Podcast. Tonight, we have a very special guest. Thanks for joining us tonight, Johnny Cove.
How's it going, man?
I'm doing good. How are you, sir?
I'm pretty sore from this past weekend, but I'm feeling pretty good other than that.
Well, I just want to thank you once again for joining us here tonight on the 5-Star Revolution Podcast. It's a true pleasure. And my first question for you is, what's your earliest memory of pro wrestling?
My earliest memory of wrestling would have to be walking into the living room and seeing my dad watch WCW, something with Ric Flair, but other than that, I can't really remember exactly like what else was going on, just that he was watching Nitro and Ric Flair was on.
All right. And who was your favorite wrestlers growing up?
For me, when I got into wrestling, my favorites were Shawn Michaels, Chris Jericho, John Cena, and then Ric Flair, obviously from my dad. That was his favorite wrestler, so I inherited that just by being around him, watching it.
So, what made you want to become a pro wrestler?
Um, it was just something when I got to college that I just felt like school wasn't for me. And the more that I tried to go to school and try to pursue something else, just wrestling just kept staying in the back of my mind. And, you know, seeing the independent scene really blowing up big and companies like Ring of Honor getting big, I just thought that, you know, there are guys my size out there making a living doing this. Why not give it a try? If I don't try now, I'll regret it the rest of my life.
So, how did you get your start into the professional wrestling business?
Well, I started doing backyard wrestling like a lot of people get into. And through that, my friend who had the ring made contacts to a local promotion in the area. And a guy there, a local wrestler, offered to train us at his under his company name, All Star Pro Wrestling, back in 2016. And I started wrestling from 2016 till now.
So, do you remember your first match? If so, what do you remember from that match and what did you learn from it?
My first match was actually September. Um, it was in September of 2017, and it was in Bethany, Oklahoma, in front of like maybe 20 people. Not a big turnout, but it was a good learning experience to go out there in front of kind of a silent crowd and just really you can hear a pin drop out there, and so it's your job to try to get the fans engaged, even if there's just 500, no matter the number. And I realized how nervous I was, but also that the nervous and the feeling of being that nervous and awkward at the moment really brought out the best of me at the time back then. But I learned a lot from just being able to work in front of 5 people to now working in front of more. So it's a learning experience.
So, speaking of learning and going through that first match, what goes through your head before you step through that curtain before a match?
So it really depends, depending on the situation. Like if I'm at a promotion that I've been to a couple times or I feel comfortable, it's more of I know I'm going to go out there, I'm going to kill it, I'm going to do my best. But if it's a new promotion and there's a lot of more bigger eyes on me, or like say, you know, a big wrestler is at the event, like the Good Brothers or somebody's watching. It's a lot of more pressure, and in those times it's more of like, all right, I just got to try my best and go out there and do what Johnny Cove can do, and that's all I can try to do.
Speaking of Johnny Cove, do you mind explaining about who Johnny Cove is and what he's about?
Uh, I'm still figuring that out, but as of right now, Johnny Cove is just a kick-ass party guy who wants to go out there each and every weekend, travel the road, go to the different towns, and just get under the lights in a wrestling ring and just show everybody that he's the best around and nobody can beat him.
So, when you go to a new promotion, do you try to have the best match possible on the card, or do you just go there, absorb everything, and just try to learn?
Um, I there's usually I would want to go out there and have the best match on the card, to uh, get brought back or get brought to other companies. But if the promoter or has different plans, like, hey, our main event is these guys, and we really want this to be the story for your match, then I'm going to do what the promoter wants. But I'm always going to try to steal the show, whether it's in a match or if I'm talking or whatever I'm doing. Just try to get the most attention if I can.
So, have you done both face and heel?
Yeah, I work mostly face since I've only been wrestling almost 4 years now, but I've been doing heel a lot more frequently lately, and just trying to get the hang of it, but still working out some kinks with it.
What's your favorite thing to do?
My favorite thing, like in
Yeah,
the ring, or
being a
just
face or being a heel?
uh, I don't like right now face, because I'm just starting to really understand how to really draw the attention with the fans as being a face and get the sympathy. But um, with heel, it's a little bit more fun because I can go out there and just say whatever I want and not really, feel like someone's going to get mad at me, because that's what I'm supposed to do.
So you only been in the business what like 3, 4 years now?
This September, it will be 4 years. I think it's September 9th. So,
What's the longest drive you've done so far in your career?
um, right now, the longest I've done is just like 4.5 hours. But hopefully this year I'll be able to add a few more hours to those drives now.
So when you do those long drives and you go to those shows, there's only like 20, 30 people in the crowd. Are you disappointed in that? If so, how do you perform on those shows?
Oh yeah, I mean, when you drive, you're driving, like, you get up early and you're driving 3, 4 hours. You're away from home, your family, or whatever, and you could have been on another show, and you get to the venue and there's more people in the back than there are in the crowd. It's a little disappointing, but at the end of the day, you're still getting paid, hopefully, so might as well make the most of it. And you know, sometimes when I go to a show and the crowd's not as what they were expecting, is just go out there and have fun with it. It's not as serious as it would be in front of 500 people.
What can we expect out of Johnny Cove in the next 3 years?
In the next 3 years, hopefully you'll be seeing Johnny Cove on TV somewhere, or just all across the independent scene as one of the indie darlings, as they would say.
So besides AEW, WWE, Impact Wrestling, are there any indie promotions that you want to debut for or have your eye on?
Yeah, I mean, my when I got into wrestling, like 2016, my goal was to maybe one day work for Ring of Honor or PWG out in California. But I mean, there's so many opportunities now. It's just hard to even name every single place I'd like to wrestle in front of. There's tons of places out in Texas right now that are really getting hot that I'd like to go to, or out in the East Coast. But other than that, the main Ring of Honor, AEW, Impact, New Japan. I'd like to go to Mexico one day. Something I'd like to cross off my list.
So you're still kind of new to the business. How do you
Yeah.
deal with backstage politics?
Um, I haven't really dealt with much backstage politics because I'm mostly low, lower level stuff, but you still deal with some because you'll go to a new company and it's very cliquey with the people that have been there since the beginning or been there longer than you, and you can kind of see where it takes place. But for me, I don't really try to get into it. It's just unnecessary drama, and I'm just there to do my job and get out. Whether they change hey, you're not winning tonight, sorry. It's like, all right, no big deal. Just pay me my money. I'll do whatever you want. I'm out of here. It's
I
not a problem.
I totally agree, man. Backstage politics, especially in smaller indie promotions, shouldn't be going around, but it happens.
It happens.
So this is a new something new that I'm trying on my podcast. Do you mind shooting a promo, face or heel, for me?
Yeah. Uh, how long? 30 seconds, a minute?
30 seconds. Go ahead.
All right. I don't know. It might be face.
In
It might
character.
be heel.
I want to do it in character, so go ahead.
All right. You want me to shoot it on you or somebody or just
Go ahead. Do it on me, CJ Price.
CJ Price? CJ Price, you're a good guy. I can tell just by looking at you that you care about professional wrestling. And I know that you think you have a shot at me. You think you have a shot at the best around Johnny Cove. Well, I'll tell you something you don't. Because what you don't know is I've got a couple tricks on my sleeve for you tonight. Because I'm Johnny Cove. I'm the California Dreamboat. And CJ, you're not the best around. I am.
Very good. I like that.
There you go. That's just off the top of the head. So
Hey, there's something new I'm trying on my podcast. Having guys shoot a little promo for me.
no, it's good practice. So it caught me off guard, but it's good practice to get that out. Because I was recently at a seminar with the Good Brothers and Scott Demore, who's he's head of like TV for Impact right now. He's one of the vice presidents or whatever. And they want you to shoot a quick 30-second promo. Just it's awkward, but you gotta do it to make it in this business. So I like doing that. So thank you.
No problem. I appreciate it. So, why does wrestling mean so much to you?
To me, I don't know. It's just always been there when I was a kid. Something I really got into. I never really got into anything else like that other than, like Star Wars and stuff like that. But wrestling was always something that me and my friends could watch and talk about. And that was kind of like our thing. We were the wrestling kids at my school. And then I got into skateboarding for a little bit and just was doing that in high school. And then college, just like wrestling was always there for me. So I just decided to go full into it.
Man, wrestling is such an art form that people don't understand. And I wish more people respected it because it takes a toll on your body and it's not fake. And speaking of that, what do you say to those people that wrestling is fake?
People say it all the time. It's like, oh, that's fake, right? Or oh, you're doing that. It's fake, right? It's like I don't say it's fake, and I just kind of like laugh it off. And depending on how they're coming at me with that, because some people really they don't really understand, and they'll just be like, oh, it's fake, right? But you'll know if someone's trying to be a dick to you, like, oh, that's fake, right? And they can just think what they want, but I'm sure if they actually sat down and watched, they'd understand that it's not fake. It's you can use whatever you want to. It's a work, and if more people in the wrestling business took it more like that, then people wouldn't constantly be saying, "Oh, it's fake."
Right. And for those people that are watching this that think wrestling is fake, I challenge them to get in the ring and take a couple bumps, run the ropes, and you'll see if it's fake or not.
Yeah, totally.
So, what would you say are some of the highlights of your career so far?
I'd have to say my first big thing I did in my career, just wrestling on a show. It was called Lucha Americana. It was in OKC back in 2018, and just being on a card with like Blue Demon Jr., Mil Muertes, there's a lot of really good talent on that card, and me and another wrestler who I trained with, we were the opening match, so it was really a lot of pressure at the time. But as soon as I got out in the crowd, it was just game on, and just having that experience of and being so new to the business and being around all these high level guys, like watching them and noticing how they act or what they do is really eye opening for me. And then I'd have to say, even like going to down to Texas this past Saturday, making my debut for Lucha Brutal. That was probably one of my career highlights for sure. Just being in front of that type of crowd and getting into the Texas wrestling scene. And then other than that, maybe just going to like Impact seminars and stuff like that.
So you've been to a couple Impact seminars, correct?
I've been to 2 so far.
So what'd you learn from those seminars, and what was the type of feedback that you got from them?
Well, the first one might not actually have been an Impact, but it was the Good Brothers. And, we got there. We had to just have a quick match, 3-minute match, cut a promo. And I thought I wasn't going to get a lot out of that. But, to his credit, Doc Gallows, he really did give me a lot of feedback that day about, character work. Whether you can go in the ring or not, if you're the most entertaining guy, like, you're going to have a job. And, and then the next one I went to was more with both the Good Brothers and Scott D'Amore. It was really more in depth about, how to make your wrestling look more realistic. And we still did a promo and a 3-minute match, but the feedback I got from that was how to work for TV, which I've never done before. So that was a lot of information I had to, figure out in that time. And then, cutting a promo in front of the Good Brothers, Scott D'Amore, and other guys, it's kind of nerve-wracking, but just know, like, hey, everyone has to do it. And it's going to be awkward, but you just got to get out of the way and do your best. And then,
So coming out of those seminars, what would you say it takes to make it to the big stage?
I'd say it's a combination of a lot of things, I mean, I'm not there yet, so I wouldn't know firsthand, but from what I've seen of guys who have made it or are getting close to making it, it's really got to be all around, in the ring, on the mic, character work, and social media is a big part, because if you're not on social media or posting like every day, no one's going to know, what you're doing or who you are. And then really just hustling, like getting out there, traveling every other weekend if you can, or just as much as you can. I think that might, get you to the big leagues. I don't know yet, but hopefully one day I'll find out.
Who's Johnny Cove's dream opponent?
Other than Ric Flair, I'd say Adam Cole, since he's a free agent now. If he doesn't sign anywhere, hopefully that match could happen. We'll see. He's one of the guys that I watched in college and said, here's a guy that's not the biggest, but just everything else about him is just like, he's a superstar. He's not that big. I'm not that big. He motivated me to get into professional wrestling. That's the match that I'd have to say is my dream opponent.
You guys are about the same size and got the same hairstyle and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, for a while I was trying too much to look like Adam Cole with my black and yellow trunks, and then try to be my own person now.
So what would you say you learned from wrestling that you carry on into your personal life?
One thing is the drive. Like, you have to want it to make it in wrestling, whether it's at just the lower level indies or the higher ups. You gotta put in the work, do the drives, and you can take this to your shoot job or wherever else. And also being more just not being shy or timid, because in wrestling you got to be out there and shake hands with everybody in the locker room, and when you walk out the curtain, you have to, even if you don't feel the best, you got to act like you are the best. And I've taken that at jobs in the past, and it's really helped me in my other professional world.
So piggybacking off that, what's one thing you wish you knew before you started wrestling?
Um, how important like character work is over wrestling, because you can know all the moves, but if you don't know who your character is or who Johnny Cove is, then you're not gonna, you're gonna be thinking about other things that's not as important as who you are. Because Johnny Cove is not gonna go out there and give a choke slam, but when you first start out, you don't know who you are, so you're just trying to do all these things. It's kind of a waste of time. But if you cannot already figure out who you are, your character, then you're already a step ahead of the game than everybody else.
I agree with you there, bro, because character development is a very important thing in professional wrestling. And if there's one thing that I've learned of professional wrestling is that you never stop learning and you never stop growing.
Yeah, that's very true.
Also, if you can change one thing in the professional wrestling business, what would it be?
Um, if I could change one thing, it might be, other than the backstage drama. Um, you know, just the overall like negativeness that the so-called wrestling fans, but it's not just wrestling fans, it's also other wrestlers on social media. It's just very negative, and it could be from the wrestler side of it, jealousy, or not wanting to admit someone's better than you. And then I've been there as a fan too, where you just like don't like what's going on the show, and you just want to put all your frustrations out there on the internet, but it's just very toxic and not good for wrestling as a whole.
I totally agree there, bro. I wish a lot of people had your mindset.
Yeah, me too.
So, a couple more questions before I let you go, Mr. Cove.
All right.
Have you done tag team wrestling?
Yep. I've had a couple tag team partners, but I've never uh, tagged for long periods of time now.
So, my next question before like is a two-part question. Do you like doing tag team more or singles?
Um, I've mostly done singles, but I also do enjoy tag teams because um, just the different psychology to singles and tag. It's just I feel like with tag, it can be more exciting than just a single, because it's the double the action and the drama with trying to get the tag, and cutting somebody off from getting the tag. But I really like to eventually maybe go on a couple tag team runs if I can, if I find the right partner.
Sounds good. I would love to see that. And last question for me, Mr. Johnny Cove, is what's your main goal? What are you looking to get out of this crazy world of professional wrestling?
Um, Really, ideally for me would be to make a living off this, whether it's on the independents or signed to a company. I'd really like to just, you know, have bookings every week if I can, or monthly, whatever. But as long as it pays my bills and I don't have to have a shoot job, that'd be the perfect situation for me. That's what I'd like to get out of wrestling. Continue to do it for as long as I can hopefully at the highest level.
Well, Mr. Johnny Cove, I wish you the best of luck in your career. And if you want to plug any social media or any future matches that you're going to be in, go right ahead.
All right. You can follow me on Twitter at Johnny Cove1, on Instagram at Johnny Cove Pro, and then just on Facebook, just Johnny Cove, and YouTube Johnny Cove, and that's where you can find me. And I'll be wrestling I'm not sure when I'm wrestling next, but just look at my social media and you'll see.
And that's Kove, correct?
Yes, sir.
Well, Mr. Johnny Cove, thank you so much for joining us right here on the Five Star Revolution podcast. It was a true pleasure. And for all of our listeners, don't forget, go over to Facebook right now for your chance to win a $200 Visa gift card. We're trying to reach 1,000 likes on our Facebook page. So share, 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 and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Mr. Johnny Cove, we wish you the best of luck. Thank you so much. Have a great night, sir.
Thank you. You too.